I stood frozen as Dr. Vance shoved me aside. "Stay back, janitor. This is above your pay grade." The federal agent was coding. Gunshot wound. 70 seconds left. They didn't know. They couldn't know. "Ma'am, we need a trauma surgeon," the nurse started. I grabbed the scalpel. "What the hell do you think you're—" My hands moved. Precise, calculated, perfect. The agent's eyes flickered open, focused on my face. "Unit, 7th Special Forces, Medical?" Dr. Vance went pale. "That's impossible. 7th Summed doesn't exist." "It does," the agent whispered. "She trained me." Everything stopped. That's when they realized the woman they'd been ordering around wasn't a janitor at all. I stood frozen as Dr. Vance shoved me aside. "Stay back, janitor. This is above your pay grade." The federal agent was coding. Gunshot wound. 70 seconds left. They didn't know. They couldn't know. "Ma'am, we need a trauma surgeon," the nurse started. I grabbed the scalpel. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" Dr. Vance lunged for my arm. My hands moved. Precise, calculated, perfect. The agent's eyes flickered open, focused on my face. "Unit, 7th Special Forces, Medical?" Dr. Vance went pale. "That's impossible. 7th Summed doesn't exist." "It does," the agent whispered. "She trained me." Everything stopped. That's when they realized the woman they'd been ordering around wasn't a janitor at all. Dr. Vance grabbed my shoulder, hard. "Security! Get this lunatic away from my patient!" I didn't look at him. Couldn't. The agent's vitals were crashing, systolic pressure dropping, 50/30, heart rate erratic. I had maybe 40 seconds before complete cardiovascular collapse. "Scalpel." My voice cut through the chaos, sharp, absolute. The nurse nearest me hesitated. Her hand hovered over the instrument tray. "Now," she handed it to me. Dr. Vance tried to physically pull me back. I planted my feet. "Sir, if you don't let me work, she dies. Your choice." "You're not even—" 40 seconds. I made the incision, clean, rapid, sternocostal. The blade moved through tissue like I'd done this yesterday, like I'd done this 100 times before. Because I had. "Jesus Christ," someone whispered. "Lap pads, suction, move." The words came out clipped, authoritative. The voice I'd buried for 3 years suddenly filling the emergency room. 2 nurses responded immediately. Muscle memory. They recognized command when they heard it. Dr. Vance stood paralyzed. "That's a clamshell thoracotomy. You can't just—" 30 seconds. My hands found the intercostal vessels, bleeding, massive. The bullet had shredded everything. I clamped the first vessel, then the second. Blood everywhere, but my hands stayed steady. They were always steady. "Retractor," I said. A resident jumped forward with the instrument. His hands shook as he positioned it. "Hold it steady or get out." No time for gentleness. No time for teaching. 20 seconds. I exposed the pericardium. Saw the tear immediately. Cardiac tamponade. Blood filling the sac around her heart, stopping it from beating properly. Metzenbaum scissors. They appeared in my hand. I cut, relieved the pressure. Blood poured out, but the heart could move again, could beat. "Manual cardiac massage. Stay with me." I placed my hands around her heart, compressed, once, twice, finding the rhythm. The agent's eyes opened, fully conscious now despite the trauma, staring directly at me. Recognition flooded her face. "Kandahar Protocol," she gasped. "You're using Kandahar Protocol." Dr. Vance's face went white. "That protocol is classified, military only. How does a janitor—" The agent's hand reached up, weak, trembling, touched my blood-soaked sleeve. "Colonel, is that you?" Silence crashed over the emergency room. 10 seconds. I kept massaging, kept the blood moving. "Stay with me, soldier. That's an order." Her lips moved, barely audible. "Ma'am, yes, ma'am." The heart monitor beeped. Once, twice, regular. Rhythm establishing. Sinus rhythm. She was back. I stepped back slowly. Let the resident take over compressions. Watch the monitor. 80 beats per minute. Climbing to 90. Blood pressure rising. Stable. My hands were covered in blood. My custodial uniform soaked through. The fluorescent lights overhead reflected off the surgical instruments I'd grabbed without permission, without credentials, without hesitation. The head nurse stared at my hands. I saw her eyes catch on the scars, old surgical scars, the kind you only get from years in an operating room, from years of cutting, saving, losing. "Who are you?" she whispered. I didn't answer, just stood there, watching the monitor, making sure the rhythm held. Dr. Vance circled the table. His arrogance had cracked. Confusion replaced it. "That technique, I've only seen it once, in a training video from 7th Special Forces Operational Medical Unit." The agent's voice was stronger now, sedatives kicking in, but she fought to stay. "Conscious. She commanded it, taught me everything." Another nurse gasped. "7th Summed is a ghost unit. They don't—" "They do." The agent's eyes locked on mine. "She saved my life in Kabul, taught me how to save others, 15 of us, all alive because of her." The emergency room doors burst open. Hospital administrator, suit, fury on his face, 2 security guards behind him. "What the hell is happening in my ER?" He spotted me, the blood, the open surgical field. "Who authorized this?" Dr. Vance opened his mouth, closed it. He had no answer. "Sir, I need this woman removed and arrested immediately. She just performed surgery without a license, without credentials, without her, your patient would be dead." The head nurse's voice cut through, strong, certain. "Look at the monitor." The administrator looked, saw the stable rhythm, the rising blood pressure, the patient breathing on her own. "I don't care if she's Special Forces Medical." Dr. Vance's voice was quiet now, shaken. "That protocol she just used, it's taught in exactly one place, to exactly one group of people. The agent fought the sedatives, struggling to speak. She saved my life in Kabul, taught me everything. She's a legend, the legend." Her eyes fluttered, closed, the medication finally winning, but her words hung in the air. Legend. I stood there, blood drying on my hands, the weight of their stares pressing down. I'd buried this person, hidden her, tried to forget she ever existed. 3 years of mopping floors, 3 years of being invisible, gone in 70 seconds. The administrator's face hardened. "I want security footage pulled. I want statements from everyone. And I want her in custody until we figure out what crime was just committed in my hospital." I didn't resist, didn't explain, just reached down and removed my gloves. The motion was automatic, practiced. I'd removed gloves 10,000 times, maybe more. Each time the same practiced efficiency. Pull at the wrist, roll inside out, drop in biohazard bin. Some things you never forget. Dr. Vance watched my hands, really watched them, saw the surgical scars, the steady control, the muscle memory that couldn't be faked. "Who are you?" he asked again. I met his eyes, said nothing. The question hung between us, heavy, unanswerable. Who was I? I didn't know anymore. The woman who saved lives was dead, buried under 3 years of guilt, 3 years of hiding, but my hands remembered, my body remembered, and now everyone knew. Security moved forward. The administrator barked orders, nurses whispered, the agent slept peacefully, alive. I stood in the center of the emergency room, blood on my uniform, silence pressing down. They wanted to know who I was. I wasn't sure I could tell them. Not yet, maybe not ever. The administrator's office smelled like stale coffee and institutional carpet cleaner. I sat in a chair meant for people receiving bad news, termination meetings, budget cuts, deaths. Now it was my turn. Administrator Brennan leaned forward across his desk. His face was red, angry, the kind of anger that comes from fear of lawsuits and liability. "Do you understand the severity of what you've done?" His voice carried the weight of threatened legal action. "You performed surgery, major surgery, without credentials, without authorization, without a medical license." I stared at my hands. They'd stopped shaking an hour ago. Now they just felt heavy, like they belonged to someone else. "Dr. Vance?" Brennan gestured to the surgeon standing by the window. Vance turned. His arrogance was gone, replaced by something else, confusion, maybe respect, maybe fear. "I need to know who you are. That protocol you used is classified, restricted to military personnel with top-level clearance. The technique itself is taught in exactly one program." I said nothing. "Answer him." Brennan's hand moved to his phone. "Or I'm calling the police right now." My voice came out flat, exhausted. "I did what needed to be done. That's all. That's not enough. It has to be." The silence stretched between us, heavy, oppressive. I could feel their eyes on me, demanding answers I didn't want to give. demanding a person I'd buried 3 years ago. "Your name," Brennan said. "I need your real name. You have my employment records, which I'm now certain are falsified." He pulled up a file on his computer. "Jamie Torres, no medical history, no criminal record, no social media presence. It's like you didn't exist before 18 months ago." Because I didn't. Not as Jamie Torres. That name was a ghost, a placeholder, a way to disappear. "I want to know." The door opened. 2 people entered, federal agents. I knew the look, the posture, the way they carried themselves. I'd worked with dozens just like them. The first one flashed credentials. "Special Agent Reeves, this is Agent Park. We're here about your patient." Brennan stood. "I don't care who you are. This woman just committed." Reeves looked past him, looked at me. His expression changed, subtle, recognition flickering across his face. "Ma'am?" His voice dropped, became something different, respectful, almost reverent. "Is it really you?" I closed my eyes, wanted to disappear into the chair, into the floor, into nothing. Park stepped forward, younger, mid-20s. His eyes went wide. "Holy hell, it is you." "Agent Reeves," Brennan started. "Sir, I need you to step outside." Reeves didn't look at him, kept his eyes on me. "You too, doctor. This conversation is classified. This is my hospital, my office. You can't just—" Reeves pulled out his phone, made a call. 30 seconds of quiet conversation. He handed the phone to Brennan. The administrator's face went pale as he listened. "Yes, sir, I understand, of course. Right away." He hung up, looked at me like I'd transformed into something unrecognizable. Then he walked out. Dr. Vance followed, but I saw him hesitate at the door, saw him glance back. The door closed. Reeves pulled a chair close, sat down. "Ma'am, we need to talk. I don't use that rank anymore. With respect, you earned it. You don't get to just throw it away." I finally looked at him, really looked, saw the way he held himself. Combat veteran, probably Army, probably someone who knew what 7th summed meant. "How did you find me?" "We didn't, not on purpose." Park moved to stand beside Reeves. "Our agent downstairs, she's been looking for you for 6 months. Had a theory you might be in the city. This hospital was on her list to check." "Why?" "Because she needed you. Because all of us who trained under you need to know you're okay." My throat tightened. "I'm not okay." Reeves leaned forward, his voice gentled, careful, like approaching something wounded. "Colonel, we know what happened in Kandahar. We know about the ambush. We know you lost your entire team." The words hit like physical blows. Kandahar, my team. 12 faces I saw every time I closed my eyes. "Don't," my voice cracked. "Don't say their names. We're not here to make you relive it. We're here because one of your students is downstairs fighting to stay alive and she needs to know her teacher is here." I shook my head. "I'm not a teacher, not anymore. You just performed a clamshell thoracotomy in under 2 minutes and saved her life using a protocol you developed 15 years ago." Park's voice carried certainty, facts. "You're exactly who you've always been. You don't know what I've done, what I failed to do." Reeves reached into his jacket, pulled out a tablet, pulled up a file. "Colonel Catherine Vale, 15 years of service, 7th Special Forces Operational Medical Unit, specialty in combat trauma surgery, 47 confirmed surgeries performed under hostile fire, 218 special operations medics trained, 3 separate commendations for—" "Stop." The name felt like a knife. Catherine Vale. I hadn't heard it spoken, aloud in 3 years. He didn't stop. "Silver Star, Bronze Star with V device, Purple Heart. You were a legend before you were 40. I got my entire team killed." The words came out raw, broken. 3 years of guilt compressed into 6 words. The room went silent. Park spoke quietly. "The intel failure wasn't your fault. The investigation cleared you. The ambush was— I was their commander, their leader. I should have seen it coming, should have protected them." My hands started shaking again. I was in surgery, saving 1 life while 12 of my people died outside. I heard the gunfire, heard the screams, and I kept operating because that's what I was trained to do. The memory crashed over me, vivid, unavoidable. The sound of automatic weapons fire. The moment the shooting stopped, walking out of that surgical tent to find bodies, my second in command, my protege, people I'd trained, people I'd promised to bring home. When I emerged, they were all dead, every single one, and I was still holding a scalpel. Reeves let the silence sit. Let me breathe through it. Then he spoke carefully. How many people died on that table while you were operating? None. I saved him. Then you did your job. You saved the life in front of you. That's what combat surgeons do. It wasn't enough. It never is. His voice carried the weight of someone who understood. But it's all we can do. I looked down at my custodial uniform. The blood had dried. Brown stains across blue fabric. After Kandahar, I resigned. They offered me positions, multiple hospitals, teaching posts. I turned them all down. Why? Because I don't deserve to practice medicine anymore. I don't deserve to save lives when I couldn't save theirs. So you became a janitor. I stayed close to medicine, close enough to see it, far enough to not be part of it. I pulled at the uniform shirt, felt the weight of 18 months of invisibility. Nobody looks at janitors. Nobody asks questions. I could watch doctors save lives and remember what it used to feel like. Park's voice was gentle. The agent downstairs, she's one of yours. You trained her 7 years ago. Advanced trauma course. She says you taught her everything she knows. My chest tightened. What's her name? Agent Tess Morrison. She was shot during a classified operation 3 days ago. Refused medical treatment at the nearest hospital. Insisted on being transported here. He paused. She told us she had a theory you were here, working under an assumed name. She wanted to find you. Why? Because she needed to know you were alive, because rumors among your former students suggested you'd disappeared. Some thought you were dead. Others thought you'd just vanished. Reeves met my eyes. She came to this hospital hoping to find you. She got shot and still insisted on coming here. The guilt twisted deeper. She came looking for me and almost died. She came looking for you and lived because you were here. The door opened slightly. Dr. Vance stood there, looking uncertain. I'm sorry to interrupt, but the patient is asking for her, specifically. Reeves stood. We need you to come downstairs. She's awake. She needs to see you. I shook my head. I can't. I'm not that person anymore. Ma'am, with respect, you just proved you'll always be that person. Park's voice carried certainty. She needs you. Others will too. I stood slowly. My body felt heavy. The weight of 3 years pressing down. The weight of 12 deaths. The weight of a name I'd tried to bury. Catherine Vale, colonel, surgeon, the woman who failed. Reeves held the door open. After you, ma'am. I looked at my hands one more time. Saw the scars. The steady control that never left. The muscle memory that saved a life today. Maybe Park was right. Maybe I'd always be this person. I walked toward the door. Duty pulling against trauma. The need to hide fighting the need to help. Dr. Vance watched me pass. His expression had changed. Completely. No more arrogance, just uncomfortable respect and a dozen unasked questions. I followed the agents down the hallway, toward the recovery room, toward a student I'd trained 7 years ago, toward a past I couldn't escape. My hands had stopped shaking. That scared me more than anything else, because it meant my body remembered what my mind tried to forget. I was still a surgeon, still a soldier, still Catherine Vale, and I had no idea how to be her anymore. We were 10 feet from the recovery room when the alarm started. Not one alarm. All of them. The hospital-wide emergency system screamed through every speaker. Code yellow, mass casualty, all available personnel to emergency department. The charge nurse sprinted past us, stopped, turned. Her face was pale, desperate. We need you, she looked directly at me. Industrial explosion at the Patterson factory. 15 critical patients incoming, maybe more. Our trauma surgeon just got called to another hospital. We can't handle this. Dr. Vance appeared behind her. Absolutely not. She's not credentialed here. We'll manage with who we have. The nurse's voice rose. We have 3 residents and 2 attendings. For 15 critical patients. We can't. Then we'll do our best with what we have. Vance looked at me. She's not practicing medicine in this hospital. I turned away, started walking toward the exit. He's right. I can't. Reeves blocked my path. His voice carried command authority. Colonel, people are dying. I'm not a colonel anymore. People are still dying. The recovery room door opened. Agent Morrison stood there, weak, pale, hospital gown hanging off her shoulders, IV still attached to her arm, but standing. "You taught me that rank and rules don't matter when lives are on the line." Her voice was steady despite her condition. "You taught me that the only thing that matters is the person in front of you who needs saving." Through the windows, I saw them. Gurneys rolling in. One after another. Bodies covered in blood and burns. The chaos of mass casualty. The kind of chaos I'd lived in for 15 years. My body recognized it before my mind did. Muscle memory surged forward. That old familiar feeling. The one I'd tried to bury. "How many critical?" The words came out automatically. The charge nurse grabbed my arm. 7 red tags, 5 yellow, 3 unknown status. 7 red tags, immediate life-threatening injuries, minutes to live without intervention. I looked at the incoming gurneys, saw the patterns, the way the paramedics moved, the urgency in their voices. This was bad, really bad, one chance, one decision. I turned to Dr. Vance, met his eyes. "Get out of my way. You can't just... People are dying. You can arrest me later, right now, move." Something in my voice made him step back, that command authority I'd buried, the voice that had led 200 medics through combat zones. I walked into the emergency department. The transformation happened. Instantly, my posture changed, shoulders back, head up. Every movement became precise, purposeful. I wasn't Catherine Vale, the janitor, anymore. I was Colonel Vale, commander, surgeon, and this was my battlefield. "Listen up." My voice cut through the chaos. Every head turned. "Triage stations 1 through 3. Now, bring me the red tags first." A resident started to protest. "We need to wait for..." "We don't have time to wait. Move." They moved. The first gurney came to me. Male, mid-30s, chest crushed, tension pneumothorax, cardiac tamponade. Both lungs collapsed. Maybe 3 minutes to live. "You," I pointed at a resident. "Or 1, now, you." Another resident. "Or 2, take the burn victim. This one's mine." Dr. Vance stepped forward. "You can't just commandeer my emergency room." I looked at him. "Doctor, assist me or step aside. Choose now." The patient on my gurney stopped breathing. Monitor flatlined. I grabbed a scalpel. Made the incision. Fast. Clean. No time for proper procedure. This was combat surgery. This was staying alive by seconds. Retractor, rib spreader, suction. The instruments appeared in my hands. The nurses responded to my commands like they'd been trained to. Because command is command. Authority is authority. And right now, I had both. I opened his chest cavity, found the tear in his pericardium, blood everywhere. His heart wasn't beating, wasn't moving. Manual cardiac massage, stay with me. My hands wrapped around his heart, compressed, released, compressed, finding the rhythm, forcing blood through his system. Clamp the intercostal vessels, control that bleeding. A nurse worked beside me, fast, competent. Like this? Perfect. Now suction here. The heart twitched, once, twice. "Come on, come back." It beat, weak but steady. Monitor beeped, once, twice. Regular rhythm establishing. "Stabilize him, get him to ICU." I was already moving to the next gurney. "Who's next?" "Female, 42. Femoral artery laceration. She's lost." 3 units already." I grabbed the clamp. "Don't wait for anesthesia. Clamp the femoral artery first. Stop the bleeding." The resident beside me hesitated. "But protocol says..." "Protocol gets her killed. Clamp, now." He did. The bleeding slowed, stopped. Good. Now we can work. 8 minutes. That's how long it took to save the first patient. Impossible speed. But I'd done impossible before. I moved to the second, then the third. My hands never stopped, never hesitated. This was what I was built for, what I'd trained for. 15 years of combat surgery compressed into muscle memory that couldn't be unlearned. Around me, the emergency room transformed. Nurses began deferring to me instead of Dr. Vance. Questions came to me. Decisions flowed through me. I organized the chaos using combat triage protocols, the same ones I'd used in Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, the same ones that had kept hundreds of soldiers alive. Dr. Vance attempted a procedure on a burn victim. I watched him struggle. Saw his incision too large, too aggressive. "Smaller incisions, doctor," my voice carried across the room. "You're not carving a turkey. Precision matters." He stopped, looked at me, then adjusted his technique. The patient stabilized. A younger resident approached me between patients. "How do you know where to cut? How do you work so fast?" "Practice, 15 years of it, now get back to work." But even in crisis, even with lives on the line, I was teaching. Because that's what I did. That's who I was. Through the observation window, I saw Administrator Brennan, phone pressed to his ear, watching everything. His expression had changed from anger to something else. Calculation, opportunity. The doors burst open. Military helicopter on the roof. Combat medics rushed in, 4 of them. They saw me, saw the blood, saw the way I moved. One of them stopped dead. "Colonel? Is that you?" They snapped to attention. Mid-crisis, mid-chaos, old habits. "We have work to do. Respect?" "Later. You," I pointed at the closest medic. "Or 3. Burn victim. You 2, assist the residents. You, with me." They didn't question, just moved. Because I was their commander, their teacher, the person who'd trained them to save lives under fire, and this was fire. Hours compressed into minutes, one patient after another, red tags turning yellow, yellow tags turning green. The impossible becoming possible because we made it possible. Agent Morrison coordinated from the hallway, still weak, still recovering, but on her phone calling in support, medical supplies, additional personnel. She was my second in command now, doing what I'd taught her. Dr. Vance worked beside me on the last critical patient, followed my instructions perfectly. His hands moved where I told them to move, his cuts precise, controlled. The patient's vitals stabilized, heart rate normal, blood pressure rising. He removed his surgical mask, looked at me, really looked. "I've never seen anything like this." I didn't respond. "Just moved to check on the other patients. All 15, all stable, all alive. 0 deaths, in a mass casualty event that should have killed half of them. 0. The last gurney rolled to recovery. The emergency room fell silent, just the steady beep of monitors, the sound of life continuing. I stood in the center of the trauma bay, covered in blood, sweat, exhaustion pressing down like physical weight. My hands were steady, my breathing even. But inside, I felt hollow, empty. Someone started clapping, slow, deliberate, a nurse, then another, then all of them. The sound built, filled the room, applause for the impossible, for 15 lives saved, for excellence demonstrated beyond doubt. I didn't acknowledge it, couldn't. Just reached down and removed my gloves, the motion automatic, practiced, done it 10,000 times before. I started walking toward the exit, toward escape, toward invisibility again. Dr. Vance stepped in front of me, blocked my path. "Wait, please." His arrogance was gone, completely, replaced by something raw, honest. "I owe you an apology. We all do." I looked at him. This man who'd dismissed me, shoved me aside, called me just a janitor. "You don't owe me anything." "I do. I dismissed you. Worse, I tried to stop you. Lives would have been lost because of my ego." His voice cracked. "You're the best surgeon I've ever seen. And I treated you like you were nothing." The nurses gathered closer, the residents, the combat medics, all of them watching, waiting. "I'm not the best," I said quietly. "I'm just someone who's done this before." 47 times under enemy fire. Agent Morrison's voice came from behind me, weak but certain. "That's what your record says. 47 combat surgeries, 218 medics trained. You're not just someone, you're a legend." I turned to face her. "Legends are for people who succeed. I failed. You saved 15 lives today, in 6 hours, with minimal resources, 0 deaths." She stepped closer. "That's not failure. That's excellence." The weight of their stares pressed down, all of them seeing me now, really seeing me. Not the janitor, not the invisible woman mopping floors. Catherine Vale, colonel, surgeon, the woman I'd tried to bury. She was standing in the center of the emergency room, covered in blood, undeniable, unavoidable. And everyone knew the truth now. I couldn't hide anymore. The conference room felt too small, too formal, too much like judgment. I sat across from the hospital board, 5 people in suits, Administrator Brennan at the head of the table, Federal agents Reeves and Park to my left, a military liaison I didn't recognize to my right. Dr. Vance stood by the window. Agent Morrison sat beside me, still weak but determined to be present. I'd cleaned up, changed out of the blood-soaked custodial uniform, but I still felt exposed, visible in a way I hadn't been for 3 years. Brennan spoke first. His anger from earlier was gone, replaced by something uncomfortable, regretful. "We need to acknowledge something." He looked directly at me. "We failed you, completely. We employed you for 18 months and never once asked the right questions, never once looked beyond the uniform you wore." A board member cleared her throat, elderly, stern-looking. "We dismissed you, made you invisible, and today you saved 15 lives because you refused to stay invisible when it mattered." Dr. Vance turned from the window. His voice was quiet, stripped of arrogance. "I dismissed you. Worse, I tried to stop you. Lives would have been lost because of my ego, because I couldn't see past your job title to recognize excellence standing right in front of me." The words hung in the air, heavy, honest. "I've been practicing medicine for 23 years, Vance continued. "I've never seen anyone work the way you do. The speed, the precision, the way you commanded that emergency room. You're not just a good surgeon, you're extraordinary." I said nothing. Didn't know what to say. The attention felt wrong, uncomfortable. I'd spent 3 years being invisible, being nobody. This felt like standing under a spotlight I didn't deserve. Reeves spoke up. "On behalf of the federal government, we want to thank you for saving Agent Morrison's life. Without your intervention, we would have lost one of our best." Morrison touched my arm. "You saved me twice, once in Kabul 7 years ago when you trained me, once today when you refused to let me die." A board member I didn't recognize leaned forward. "Colonel Vale, we'd like to make you an offer. I'm not a colonel anymore. You are to us." Brennan slid a folder across the table. "Director of Trauma Services, full position, complete authority over emergency department protocols, salary commensurate with your experience and credentials, full benefits, autonomy to restructure the department as you see fit." I stared at the folder, didn't touch it. "Your medical credentials will be fully reinstated," the board member continued. "We've already begun the process. You'll have complete control over hiring, training, and protocols." Dr. Vance stepped closer. "I'll work under your direction. Whatever you need, however you need it. The emergency department should be yours." "We need you," Brennan said simply. "Our community needs you." The words should have felt good, validating. Instead, they felt like pressure, weight, expectation I couldn't meet. "I can't." My voice came out rough, strained. "You don't understand what I carry." "We know about Kandahar," the military liaison said. "We know about your team." "Then you know I failed them. I got 12 people killed, people I trained, people I promised to protect." My hands trembled. "I don't deserve to lead anyone." Morrison stood, weak, unsteady, but standing. "Ma'am, you taught me something in Kabul. You said guilt is the price of survival, but purpose is how we pay it forward." I looked at her, saw my protégé from 7 years ago, saw the skills I'd taught her keeping her alive. 47 people you trained are alive today," she continued, "saving lives all over the world. Iraq, Syria, Somalia, humanitarian missions, combat zones. Every single day, someone you taught is using your protocols to save lives. That doesn't change what happened. It doesn't. But it means something." Her voice strengthened. "You didn't fail us. You gave us the skills to survive, the knowledge to save others. Now let us give back. Let us help you find purpose again." The room fell silent. I looked at my hands, saw the surgical scars, the steadiness that never left. Even after 3 years of hiding, my hands remembered, my body remembered. I looked at my reflection in the conference room window, saw myself, not invisible anymore, not hiding, just Catherine Vale, surgeon, commander, the woman I'd tried to bury. The military liaison spoke quietly. "Your team would want you to keep saving lives, not hiding from them." The words hit hard. True. My team would have hated seeing me mop floors. They would have demanded I get back to work, get back to saving lives, get back to being who I was. The silence stretched, long, heavy, everyone waiting for my answer. I thought about the 15 people who'd lived today, thought about the protocols I'd developed, the techniques I'd refined, the knowledge I carried that could save hundreds more. I have conditions. The words came out steady, certain. Brennan leaned forward. Name them. Military standard trauma protocols, implemented across the entire department, no exceptions. Done. Training program, combat-level emergency medicine. I want to teach the way I was taught. Fast, efficient, effective. Absolutely. Partnership with federal agencies. I want to train field medics, active duty personnel, anyone who needs advanced trauma skills. Reeves nodded. We can arrange that. Monthly teaching sessions, open to any hospital that wants to send. Personnel. I'll teach my Kandahar protocols, free of charge. The board members exchanged glances. Agreement passed between them without words. When do you start? Dr. Vance asked. I stood, met his eyes. I already did. 6 months later, the morning sun cut through my office window. Director of Trauma Services, my name on the door, my protocols on the walls. I wore scrubs and a white coat, not a custodial uniform. The dog tag still hung around my neck, hidden under my shirt, a reminder of where I came from, who I'd been, who I'd lost. The trauma center had transformed, national recognition, articles in medical journals, hospitals from 3 states sending personnel to learn our protocols. Mortality rate down 34%, response time cut in half. But the numbers didn't matter as much as the people. I walked through the hallway toward the OR, past a custodial worker cleaning the floor. Young, quiet, invisible the way I'd been. I stopped. Excuse me, he looked up. Surprised. People didn't usually talk to custodians. Thank you for the work you do. Every role here matters. This hospital runs because of people like you. His face transformed, grateful, seen. Thank you, ma'am. That means a lot. I smiled, continued walking, remembered being invisible, remembered being dismissed. Never again would anyone in my hospital feel that way. Not on my watch. The OR was prepped. A resident waited nervously. First solo thoracotomy. I'd be supervising, teaching. Dr. Vance worked beside me now, transformed. Better surgeon, better teacher, better human. He'd learned humility the hard way. But he'd learned. Ready? I asked the resident. She nodded, hands shaking slightly. Precision, control, confidence, you can do this. The patient was prepped, the incision marked. She began cutting, slow, careful, textbook technique. I guided her through it, step by step, the way I'd taught 200 others, the way I'd been taught decades ago. The patient stabilized. Heart rhythm perfect, vitals strong. The resident looked at me with awe. How do you make it look so easy? I smiled. First genuine smile in years. It's not easy. It's purpose, and purpose makes everything possible. The OR doors opened. Agent Morrison entered, fully healed, strong. She carried something wrapped in brown paper. Ma'am, I brought you something. She unwrapped it, a framed photograph, my old military team, all 12 of them, smiling, alive, taken 2 weeks before Kandahar. They're still saving lives through everything you taught us, Morrison said softly. Every protocol, every technique, every lesson, it's all still out there, keeping people alive. I took the frame, felt the weight of it, the weight of memory, the weight of loss, but also the weight of legacy, of purpose. Thank you. Tears filled my eyes. I didn't hide them, didn't need to anymore. I carried the photo to my office, placed it on the wall where I could see it, their faces watching me, reminding me, not of failure, but of what I'd given them, what they'd carried forward. I'm ready to forgive myself now, I whispered. The hospital moved around me, lives being saved, protocols being followed, excellence being taught, my legacy spreading beyond these walls. 3 other hospitals had adopted my methods. 45 new trauma specialists graduated from my program. Federal agents sent medics monthly for training. I'd transformed from invisible to indispensable, from hiding to leading, from guilt to purpose. The janitor uniform was gone, replaced by the director's coat. But I kept those dog tags, kept remembering where I'd been, what I'd survived, who I'd lost, because they made me who I was now. End of shift. I walked through the hospital. Staff greeted me with respect. Residents asked questions, nurses sought guidance, the entire culture had transformed. Excellence expected, compassion required, nobody dismissed, nobody invisible. I passed the emergency room, the place where everything changed, where Catherine Vale stopped hiding and started living again. For a moment, I saw myself. 18 months ago, custodial uniform, mop in hand, dismissed, invisible, broken. Then I blinked, saw my reflection in the glass, director's coat, ID badge clear, director of trauma services, visible, present, whole. I walked toward the exit, morning sun rising, emergency vehicles arriving, another shift beginning, more lives to save, more people to teach, more purpose to fulfill. I stopped at the doors, turned back, looked at the hospital, my hospital now, my team, my purpose. Sometimes the most qualified person in the room is the one everyone overlooks. Never dismiss someone based on their current position. You never know what battles they've already won, what skills they carry, what excellence they hide. I'd been invisible because I chose to be, because guilt demanded it, because I thought I didn't deserve to save lives anymore. But purpose doesn't ask permission. It doesn't wait for worthiness. It just demands action, demands excellence, demands that you show up and do the work that needs doing. I was Catherine Vale, colonel, surgeon, teacher, leader, and I was ready. The emergency vehicles pulled up, paramedics rushing, someone was dying, someone needed saving. I turned back toward the hospital, toward the emergency room, toward purpose, always ready, always watching, always there when lives needed saving, because that's who I was, who I'd always been, who I'd always be. The doors closed behind me. The hospital welcomed me back. Another shift, another chance to save lives, another opportunity to teach excellence, to spread purpose, to honor the 12 faces watching from my office wall. I was home, finally, completely, and I would never hide again.